everyone. This is Erica from Bravo Migration here with you for another Australian immigration updates, this time covering changes to legislation that's happening in March and April 2022. We have to start with the news that the government will now allow 482 sponsorship visa holders, the TSS visa, who have nominated occupations in the short-term stream, meaning those occupations are not in high demand, and normally these visa holders wouldn't be able to apply for a permanent employer visa after working for those employers. If those applicants are people who have stayed here in Australia during the pandemic years, from February 2020 to December 2021, for a total minimum period of 12 months, these people will be able to apply for a permanent employer visa. So we're talking about occupations such as cooks, restaurant or cafe managers, marketing specialists, public relations specialists, IT hardware support engineers, and many, many others. So this is great news for a number of people. It's still a requirement that you are sponsored. We got many inquiries from people saying, well, can I just apply for PR? I've been here for those pandemic years as a student. You still need to find a sponsor in your occupation. You still have to have the right qualifications and work experience, but occupations that would normally not lead you into permanent visa are now maybe a pathway for these people who stayed here during the pandemic years. We also saw the early announcement of the budget, and as we always explain, the budget is relevant for people intending to migrate to Australia or for people who are here already and who intend to stay on a permanent basis. The budget's relevant because that's when the government announces the total number of permanent visas that could be given in a year, in the next financial year. That normally happens in May, but this time it happened in March because there's elections coming up in May. And we were happy to see that numbers for the general skilled migration visas 189, 190, and 491 have gone back up to pre-pandemic levels. Still not a lot of places, it's still not enough to generate invitations to all hopefuls on the queue within Skill Select for the 189 visa, but much, much better. We're talking about around 16,000 visas for the 189 subclass for the next financial year. That goes up from 6,500 this year. So again, it's triple more, almost triple, but still not enough for the 189 visa to be realistic pathway for many people. We also saw increase for the 190 from 11,000-ish to 20,000-ish, and the 491 up to 25,000. We saw increasing employer nomination permanent visas as well. So great news for people looking at those visas. When it comes to state nomination visas, just like I mentioned, the 190 permanent and the 491 temporary visa, the states and territories are almost running out of places for this financial year. So they weren't allocated many places for this year. All states and territories had robust programs throughout this financial year, but we're seeing many of them reaching their quota. We saw WA closed and determined that they had already reached their quota, but then the federal government offered more places for them. We also saw South Australia saying they're probably getting there soon, and Tasmania putting priority processing for some people who are working in the state, but also letting everyone know that they're almost running out of places. New South Wales continues to invite people for the 190. Northern Territory, we just had an invitation today, for example, but we know that New South Wales has closed their windows of submission when people can register interest on the 31st of March, and there's not going to be any windows until next year. So again, every 1st of July, we have to keep updating you in terms of what the states and territories will decide their requirements will be for the next financial year, because this is all determined by how many places they get. But if, there's double the amount of places for the 491 and the 190 visa for the next financial year, we believe that the states and territories may increase the number of invitations as well, and hopefully relax their requirements a little bit and expand their occupation lists. And to finalize this news, we were told that from the 1st of July, the 462 work and holiday visa will be available for Brazilian citizens. There's going to be only 500 places, but this has been a long time coming, and I'm sure our friends and clients in Brazil are happy about that. So thanks for watching. This is a recap of the most important, not all, changes in migration legislation that happened in March and April, and we'll see you next month. Bye.